The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Hi everyone, today on Aging Horizons, talking food. You know I love that topic. We're going to be talking about the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program with somebody who is just an expert on that program and all it brings to us and to our communities. We've had a little bit of challenge over the last year with the pandemic, but the farmers markets are coming back better than ever, so stay tuned.
Flight 109, is that Evel Knievel on the runway?
Whoa, Daredevil! You need a Montana Real ID to fly. Go to mtrealid.gov to make an appointment.
Looks easier than jumping a canyon.
Smile. I see you changed your name from Robert to Evil. Did you bring your name change documentation?
I'm not trying to pull a stunt. Got the paperwork right there.
Go to mtrealid.gov.
Now I can fly. It's that easy.
I have so many questions about power of attorney.
Well, some powers of attorney are for finances and others are for healthcare decisions.
A power of attorney designates an agent who would make decisions on your behalf.
While making a power of attorney, you have the ability to control your agent's power.
You also have the ability to decide when that POA would take effect.
Wait, am I giving away all my rights?
Power of attorney isn't a license to make any decision for you, just those that you've specified.
Your agent should be somebody that's working in your best interest, but it should also be somebody that you would trust.
What if they try to abuse their power?
Protective measures like third-party accounting, secondary signatures, defined spending and gifting limits can help protect against financial exploitation. An agent's powers can always be limited by a customized power of attorney, and they can be revoked by you or the court if the power of attorney is abused.
So carefully drafted estate planning documents can help ensure that your finances are monitored, but not abused.
If you or someone you know is being exploited, please report to Aging Services Bureau at 844-277-9300 or the Legal Service Developer at 1-800-332-2272. This message sponsored by the DPHHS Aging Service Bureau.
Respite Care is amazing. If you are capable of doing it, the rewards are beyond measure.
Stephanie Young, Respite Care provider, on the unexpected benefits of helping people in need.
Being a Respite Care provider is an amazing experience. It's something that what you give, you get back 100-fold. You receive so much more than you could ever imagine.
To find out how to change lives, including your own, go to respite.mt.gov.
Hello everyone and welcome to Aging Horizons, brought to you by the Department of Public Health and Human Services. I'm your host, Kimmy Everman, and like I said, we're going to be talking food today. Always a great subject around here because we love to eat. And having a great guest with us today, Jackie Stokel. And Jackie, you are the program manager for the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program at DPHHS in the Office on Aging. Welcome. We've had you before. You're one of our favorites because this is a really, really great program. And, you know, as I said, it's been a challenging year last year, but you're barreling back. Yeah, we're coming back. It just sounds great. So why don't you just give us kind of a little introduction?
Okay. Well, you know, it's called the Senior Farmer Market Nutrition Program, but people know it as the coupon program. And it is funding that comes from the USDA, which is the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And we get this funding every year. Its benefits are eligible seniors, and I'll go into eligibility a little bit later. And it benefits our participating farmers, which are mostly our local vendors, especially our produce and honey vendors. We have 14 distribution sites throughout the state that covers about 24 communities. Billings, we have a new site set up in Billings, the Adult Resource Alliance, and we will have those sites on our website here.
Oh, really awesome! Soon. That's great. And we'll just we'll run the area agency number as well because folks can call them to find out more about this, right?
Well,
or should they call you?
They call me. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have your number instead.
Yes,
that sounds good. So what is the eligibility?
So seniors that are 60 years and over at the time of application are eligible to apply, and then they need to reside in the local distribution area and county as where those local agencies are. And there are just an array of different type of agencies, not just a couple of area agencies, but like Helena Food Share here in Helena is our distribution site.
Oh, great.
And Missoula Aging Services, of course, is our another one, and Western Sustainability in Livingston. So there is just a real variety of sites and pretty diverse. Their income level has to be at or below 185% poverty level, which translates to about $1,986 a month or $23,828 a year for a household of one. And many of our seniors do reach that. I'm just really disheartened to see some of the incomes of some of our seniors and how they make ends meet. And they're pretty frugal.
Well, yeah, but they're also sometimes stoic in going without what they need.
Exactly. And stuff. So we do, they do apply through these things. We'll talk a little bit about the distribution process here, but we also are encouraging proxies still this year. Last year they used a lot of proxies. Those are neighbors, friends, family members who are able to go to the market for them if they do not feel comfortable getting out to the market because of the ongoing concern for the pandemic, and also if they have a challenge, mobility challenges of getting around. Each person that applies and is eligible receives $50 worth of coupons. That's 5 books of 5 coupons for $2 each. So,
wow. And because we're going to talk about this a bit more also, but the proxy #1 is just awesome because there are so many folks that aren't being able to get out right now. How would you make that happen if you were going to want to do that as a senior?
So the seniors, when they get the application, there is a place for them to assign a proxy.
Okay.
And then the proxy is able to bring the application in or sign off on the application for them, and then they can go to the market for them as long as they sign off on the cover of the coupon.
Okay. And the folks that are at now you mentioned one of the great benefits, not just for older adults, but for those participating farmers, because they have a place to bring their wares.
Exactly. You know, and a lot of them participate at the farmers market. We do have those that are still involved in the market, but also have sort of farm stands. And it's great for them because they're able to move their produce. They love working with the seniors. I haven't talked to a vendor yet that does not want to be part of this program once they start. They feel like they're contributing. They love the seniors. They're able to get some reimbursement. And, you know, if they have produce left over, what do they do with it? It has to be fresh produce.
Exactly. And these are a lot of times sort of smaller scale farmers. Nobody that's got some giant corporation is doing this. So you're really supporting your community.
Yeah, exactly.
By using this coupon program. And what kinds of things, now you also talked about 14 distribution sites covering 24 communities. So are those kind of like just all over the place, sort of
they
centralized?
Are. And I review those sites, and one's clear out in Miles City. So that's quite a distance from Helena. And then we have, communities of Eureka, Libby, and Troy that participate also. So that's at the other end of the spectrum. And of course, Red Lodge and Billings are a couple of other sites. So they're all over the state.
But that's a good thing because we have a lot of miles to cover in this state, and we really want to be able to make sure that folks have accessibility.
Exactly.
To this is such a great program, and so excited to hear that it's coming back so much this year. And folks, we're going to talk a lot more about this, but this has been a program for a number of years that has just been an outstanding way to get fresh produce, socialize, get out of your house, get into your community where maybe your friends are, maybe you could go to the market with some friends, just getting out, getting some fresh air, and knowing that you are supporting your community through these great $2 coupons. We have a whole lot more. We're going to tell you how this all works, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
I think the most pleasant surprise when we turned 65 and signed up for Medicare Part B was finding out about our Welcome to Medicare preventive visit.
It was free, and it gave us the opportunity to visit with our doctors and establish a plan for our health going forward.
They reviewed our medical history, measured our height, weight, blood pressure, and counseled us on other risk factors.
To learn more about Medicare's free or low-cost preventive and wellness benefits, call your local SHIP counselor at 800-551-3191. I mentioned it's free, right?
Twice.
I've been shooting since I was young. It's something I've always enjoyed. I wasn't feeling like myself, but my friend noticed. He asked if he could hold onto my guns temporarily. At first, I was a little shocked, but then I agreed. I think he saved my life that day.
This is Bill. He just received his new Medicare card and is following some simple rules to protect himself from fraud. He knows to never give out his Medicare, Social Security, or bank number over the phone. And this is Nancy. She knows that to detect any problems, she always reads her Medicare Summary Notice or Medicare Advantage EOB to make sure the billing is correct. Both Bill and Nancy know that anything suspicious can be reported to Montana SMP at 1-800-551-3191.
Here in Montana, we love our outdoor activities. Unfortunately, few of them are risk-free. Indeed, Montana is second in the nation per capita in head injuries that can destroy the lives of people we love. That's why you should insist your family always wear protective helmets. But you can do even more. When you fill out your vehicle registration this year, circle the Y and donate $1 to support traumatic brain injury prevention and education. Now that's using the old noggin.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Aging Horizons. We're here talking about the fantastic Senior Farmers Market program here in the state of Montana with Jackie Stokel. Jackie, we're so glad to have you. So let's talk a bit about the distribution process, because we've said, okay, there are these centers all over, sort of trying to, cover all the different communities. But tell us a little bit more about the process of the distribution.
Okay, each one of these local sites, which will be on the website for folks to look at. Seniors can go to that site. They have an application process, and it's a really short, simple 2-page application, which is taken up with a lot of language and sign off. But that process helps us determine eligibility. Okay. The income guideline is right on the application. And then, again, the age, we need to know that they're 60 and over. So at the point of eligibility, that's determined right on site, and the coupons then are distributed for those eligible seniors.
Okay.
And the seniors will see right away if they're going to be eligible by looking at that before they sign off on the dotted line. This program runs from June 1 through October 31st, and so they won't be able to use those coupons until June 1st. They're usually distributed sometime in May. The coupons are redeemed for local fresh produce only. That's like fruits and vegetables and raw honey, not potted plants, not pizza,
not soap, not necklaces.
And I know seniors would love to have the baked goods, which is always my favorite. But we are trying to get them to eat nutritious and try out different types of produce and vegetables. So we also approve farmers, and those farmers have what they call their market signs. And I think that there's probably a copy that they'll show here on this program, and they are to post those, they're required to post those. So seniors know.
So we know.
Yeah. The seniors know that. And that's also been included in part of the application handout, what the picture of that sign is.
Super.
And stuff, so they know what's going on. So the farmers themselves have to go through an approval process. So these coupons can only be used in participating farmers and the farmers markets. It's not restricted to the market if that farmer has a farm stand and has been approved.
But you're always looking for that logo,
exactly.
right?
And we always appreciate them going to the markets because of socialization and all of that you had mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Each market will probably continue to set up some sort of protocols for social distancing, depending on their work with their county health department. But I think that a lot more are going to open up this year. Last year was really difficult.
Sure. It was a difficult year for lots of folks.
Yes. And again, we are encouraging proxies. That proxy is also ability to sign that on the application.
And say again what the proxy means.
The proxy could be a family member, could be a neighbor, a church member, someone that they trust that they will be able to get their vegetables and fruits for them and pick them up at the market and bring them back. And so they would sign off on those too.
Yep. So folks should be thinking about that if they feel like that might be something they want to do. They would want to think about that when they're stressing or when they're applying for the coupons. Okay.
Yeah.
And let's see. Are the coupons a certain color?
The coupons are red and white this year. Again, our current season starts in June 1st and it is extended to October 31st versus last year. But many of the markets closed down before that. And we also have opened it up to the winter market until October 31st. Bozeman has a winter market. I think Missoula may have a winter market. And again, look for the signs. Each coupons were $2 and needs to be signed by the senior. They are red and white this year. That's saying that the ones from last year are not eligible, in case you kept them. And again, stressing that only eligible foods will be given to seniors.
Okay. Now, also, there's a vendor responsibility for some training and eligibility. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. The vendors are expected to attend an annual training, which I conduct, and I do a lot of that virtually. And it kind of goes over the do's and don'ts of the program. It's kind of a reminder. And it goes through brief civil rights training because we want to make sure our seniors and folks involved are not discriminated against for one reason or other. They tend to go through a lot of this stuff already because if they have any sort of federal grant and stuff, you have to go through this. But it just kind of gives them the do's and don'ts, but it does give them the opportunity to ask questions and what they can and cannot sell. And then so they can contact me directly for that phone training. I will also be setting up phone training probably in April and May. I know this airs in May, so it's really good timing for that. And
so should we put your number on the screen then? Okay, so we'll do that.
And then we are actually in many of the sites training along with WIC because we have a lot of similar protocol that we do, and so it kind of saves the vendors some time in trying to get a hold of both of us, and we have some of that stuff arranged already. So that helps a lot. And again, each of them have a copy of the sign that they are to post, and WIC has a sign also. So they're kind of a two-sign thing. I always tell them kind of holds down their table and wins. And then it helps the seniors know who's eligible, and it is required they put up the sign. If they don't have a sign, I will send them one if they aren't approved. Farmer.
Great. I'm always happy to hear how smoothly this program has come to. I mean, I know you have your issues, and I know COVID has not been easy, but you really have this like a well-oiled machine. And folks, we don't want you to miss being able to use this benefit. If you think that you're eligible, or even if you don't know, you don't just think you're not. We'll put the number on the screen for you to call to find out about eligibility and give it a try. This is so much more than food. It's socialization. It's your community support. Just really a great program. Want you to take advantage of it. We'll be right back.
Elder abuse is a growing problem, and it's happening right here in our Montana communities. At least 1 in 10 older adults are victims of physical or emotional abuse, financial exploitation, or neglect. To get help or report elder abuse, call your local area agency on aging or Adult Protective Services at 1-844-277-9300.
Every 65 seconds, someone is affected with Alzheimer's or other dementias. Many become isolated at a time when help is most needed. If you or someone you love is affected, help is available, both for people with memory loss and their caregivers. Memory loss can feel frightening, but you are not alone. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
You mean I can get help paying my prescription drug premiums?
Let me get this straight. I could be eligible for help with my family's prescription premiums even though I own my own home?
And our assets won't be counted.
If you're a Montana resident enrolled in the Medicare prescription drug program, you could be eligible for help paying your premiums. Call or visit the Big Sky RX website today to find out, even if you think you're over income.
What do you know about that? I'm eligible.
When I found out it was diabetes, my first thought was, Barb, you need help. You have to take control of this. There is help. My doctor gave me a phone number. I called and signed up with a diabetes educator. There is help. I have to put blinders on when I walk past the bakery counter. I can feel my blood sugar go up. You succeed a little at a time. If you have diabetes, help is available. You do not have to do it alone.
Ask your doctor about diabetes education or visit montana211.org.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Aging Horizons. We're here talking about the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program with Jackie Stokelo. Jackie, always good to have you with us. We were talking about vendor eligibility in the last segment, but there was one other thing that we needed to mention about their eligibility and training that you wanted to talk about.
Well, I wanted to mention that these agreements that we do with vendors are 3-year agreements, so they're good to go for 3 years once they've been approved. We do have quite a few vendors that their contracts have expired, so to make sure that to contact me so I can send that to them. But also the training is annual, and it is most all fresh produce vendors are eligible as long as they're local.
And I think it's important what you said. It's federal. It's a federal program, so and the training's not all day or anything like that.
It's about a 20-minute training at most.
Just gets you refreshed with what to be what to be doing. So let's talk about the distribution points again, because there are a number, and you know quite a few, or probably all of the local distribution points.
I do. And so I can kind of list them. We have a program in Lincoln County that's actually run through Area 5, and Troy, Libby, and Eureka are the 3 markets that participate in this program. Billings, the Adult Resource Alliance, is doing our program this year, and they're pretty excited about being involved this year. Butte is through our area. That's Area 5. It was Area 6. And they reach out to Butte and Anaconda if they have a market this year. Missoula County is through Missoula Aging Services, and they also cover Seeley Lake for their market, and I think it drifts off into East Missoula. There's a lot of little markets in Missoula. Lake County covers Polson, Ronan, St. Ignatius, and that's run through the Lake County Council on Aging. I'm starting to try to figure out who all these people are. And then Helena Food Share covers Helena and East Helena. Great Falls is through the Great Falls Senior Center, so contact Bob Meyer there. Bozeman is through the Bozeman Senior Center. And they cover most of Gallatin Valley, but we also have a program in Manhattan that's through the Gallatin Conservation District.
Oh, super.
And, our market master has retired this year, so Becky Clemens is the one that has taken that over. Livingston is through Western Sustainability Exchange. Shannon Mascari runs that program, and she works really closely with the food resource program down there. Red Lodge is through the Red Lodge Area Community Foundation, and they cover Carbon County also. Miles City is through the Custer County Food Bank. Townsend is through the Broadwater County Health Department. And then Ravalli County is through the Ravalli County Council on Aging, which covers Stevensville, Hamilton, and Darby. And I know Florence also goes into there. So we have wonderful site managers over there, and they know this program very well.
Well, number one, I thank you for knowing so much about each of these sites. And number two, I love how many communities are coming together to make this happen, and to make sure that especially our older adults get a chance to participate in these very lovely events.
And I asked them to sign up early because seniors are already calling asking about the coupons.
Are they really?
Yes. And vendors are calling, so
Okay,
I'm excited.
so actually, let's talk about that. What's the deal about getting coupons and stuff like that?
Well, we should be distributing those probably in probably mid to late May, since they are not eligible to use them until June, and then they will be distributed till they run out.
Okay. And again, I want to put your phone number up on the screen, and
for the vendors,
yeah, so that the vendors can give you a call, and if they're interested in being a part of this fabulous program. Do you have vendors that have been around a while?
Oh yes, longer than I have been with the program.
Is that right?
And it's always, they've just enjoyed this program. But then I always say that seniors are our best recruitment, because if they don't have a sign and they want to buy, they get pretty persistent. And so I have vendors
so they call
calling
you
me.
and they want them to be a vendor? Oh,
well, the seniors sometimes
great.
call, or the vendors call me and say, what is this program? And I'll sign you right up.
Well, and you know, I know that we want folks to eat well and fresh produce and fruits and things, but I also like to say that, you know, when folks take advantage of a program like this, it leaves other money in their pocket for other things.
Exactly.
That they may need, or maybe you don't need that haircut or that new pair of shoes, whatever it is, but you want it. And this is a way to show that we support our communities and support each other, and that everybody's getting a hand up.
It is. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah, and it's good to hear that there's so many vendors that want to come back year after year, because I can't imagine. I imagine it's a lot of hard work.
It is very hard. The vendors work very hard to make sure they have the vegetables at the market, and so the more that we can support them and help them move their product, it's a win-win situation.
Well, it is, and as you said too, just the health benefits alone. And again, I want to point out, it's not just your physical health that this is good for. This is good for your emotional health, because it's a lovely Saturday morning, and you can go down to your community, wherever the event is, and take part.
And it is big this year, because last year we weren't able to get out, and people are itching to get out in the good
Jackie,
weather.
thank you. You know what? I can't wait I can't wait to go to some of these or hear back from you and see how it all went, because I know it has been a difficult year. So thanks very much for being with us. And folks, please, this is a program that is a hand up, not a handout. It's for very, very good support of you, your health, emotional, physical, and the farmers in your community. They're all there for you. It's a win-win package. So for Raging Horizons, I'm Kimmy Everman. Thanks for watching.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.